Howdy out there, folks. Today we're going to be looking at After Dark, My Sweet, a film adaptation of a Jim Thompson novel starring Jason Patric, Rachel Ward, and Bruce Dern. It was released in 1990 and is directed by James Foley, who incidentally has made some of the more interesting films over the last several decades, although I would not include his most recent effort in the 50 Shades of Freed and all of that nonsense. I would exclude that. So in some ways I find it interesting that his career has developed into that realm of schlock, because if you look at his earlier work, he directed firstly a bunch of Madonna music videos back in the day. He also directed At Close Range, a terrific film starring Sean Penn and Christopher Walken. David Stathern, I believe, is in that as well. Strathern, but fabulous little piece of noir. And then he directed this film that came out in 1990. He also incidentally did Glengarry Glen Ross, which is one of my favorites as well. But this is a terrific adaptation of a Jim Thompson novel. And if any of my viewers have not heard of Jim Thompson or have not read anything by him, do yourself a favor and seek him out. His pulp fiction is terrific. He's a great noir writer. He's written some fabulous stories that a couple have gone on to become films, including The Grifters, which of course was made by, I believe, Stephen Frears, and starred John Cusack, Angelica Houston, and a young Annette Bening. I believe that came out in 1990 as well, I believe, or 91. But in any case, and then of course I think he did The Killers, which was made by Stanley Kubrick. Great heist film noir early in Stanley's career. So he's a very talented filmmaker, and I think this film rightly sits atop some of the best ever made. In fact, Roger Ebert has put this film in his so-called great list. And it was just criminally overlooked when it was released. It was a complete flop. I think it was made for about $7 million, only made just south of $3 million at the box office. But I recall seeing it actually on VHS, I want to say back in 91 or 92. And, I think partly the reason I wanted to watch it was because I'm a huge Jason Patric fan, as well as Bruce Dern. And I recalled enjoying it. It was a great piece of noir cinema, and I've not seen it since. I sought out a used copy of this. Had been on the lookout for some time, found it for a couple bucks, and I'm happy to report it holds up, and the DVD is actually quite good. It's recently been given a Blu-ray release, I believe, by Imprint, that boutique label down in Australia. But honestly, the standard def DVD rather looks fine. It doesn't have any issues, and the film itself is beautifully shot. Every sequence seems to be very every shot just seems to be thought out and executed with a high degree of craftsmanship. And thankfully, the three leads in the film do a fantastic job at selling the drama. It's just an interesting character study about really three sad sacks. And, Jason Patric, of course, he was from Lost Boys fame and was trying to break out and get into more serious roles. And this film was a terrific vehicle for him. It's just sad that he didn't really, catch on the way I think a lot of people expected him. It is an interesting bit of trivia. He is Jackie Gleason's grandson, and I think he was probably mindful of not using that and didn't want to necessarily go down the commercial route that he likely could have after the Lost Boys. Instead, he chose weird character dramas and independent films. And of course, his one, effort to get into the big blockbuster realm with Speed 2 was a complete flop. And I think it just sort of relegated him to the margins. But I think he is a fantastic actor who's given some great performances, including in this film. So basically the conceit of this is it's Jason Patric plays a boxer who appears to be sort of drifting around aimlessly and had some sort of episode in the ring which might have caused him some medical issues and even perhaps banned him from boxing. And they sort of go into that through flashbacks rather well, I might add. And then, of course, Bruce Dern and Rachel Ward play these two people that he sort of comes into orbit with. And it just ends up going down this very strange, dark, and sort of depressing pathway that is nevertheless infinitely watchable and fascinating. Again, this is a terrific piece of noir cinema. I can't recommend it enough. And I would just say that even though the director has since gone on to make some of the worst films I think I can recall in recent memory, with the 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades of Freed, he's actually a talented guy and has made some pretty terrific movies. So do yourself a favor and look this one up. It's a good watch. So on that note, please do take care out there, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and keep watching cinema.